So good morning. Let us start the class. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So in our previous classes, we have discussed that what is a data type and what do we mean by the data type. So this is just the in brief. We say that data type basically defines three properties. The first thing is that the size of the data that we understand. Then how we interpret the value of the data, either in a ASCII code for character or binary representation for integer, otherwise a floating point representations for real number, or 2's complement in case of a signed number. Then we also understand that there is a set of operations that can be applied on the data. So every data type is associated with some defined set of operations. Okay. So for example, if we consider that if we consider the exponentiation operation, so we don't have any exponentiation operation in C programming language. Say you cannot make a say a to the power some b where both of them are variable, or instead a to the power some p. Okay? So this operation, we don't have any such operator which executes this exponentiation operation. So to get the exponentiation, we have to write a program. So I have to perform successive multiplication operation, and we can get the exponential in that way. Yeah. So this is so there is no exp operation, or we don't have any operator which performs the exponentiation. Similarly, for some data types, like if we consider an integer, say for integer or long or short, there is an operator which is called the modulo operation. So I can perform say a modulo of 5. That means variable a is divides with 5, and the remainder is the answer. So this is basically 27 divides modulo of 5 gives me 2. Okay, so 2 is basically the remainder. So so this operation is also applicable for character, but they are not applicable for float and double. And float, we don't have this type of operations. Okay, so so there are some limitations in different data types, and for every data types we have a predefined set of operations. Okay. So now, what are the data types are available in the C programming language? The C programming language defines system-defined data types, which is called the auto data types. Okay. So auto data types basically says that there are integers, float, etc., etc. They are already declared or already defined in the C compiler. So we need not to express what is the characteristics of this data. Yeah. So when we say that it is an int a in C programming language, so this statement intuitively declares that a is a variable and a behaves like an integer. So when a behaves like an integer, then it also defines what is the size, what are the interpretations, and what are the operators applicable on the variable. So they are called the system defined data type. Okay. So system defined data types are, as we already encountered many times, integer, characters, float, then we have double, short, etc., etc. These they are basically the system defined data types, and they are also have a keyword for defining those data. Okay. And the other way, we have a user defined data types. So what is the meaning of the user defined data types? So apart from those primitive data like integer, character, etc., we also have some. We also captures the behavior of some element. Like if you are a student, so if I consider that student is a entity, then student is having different types of data associated with these things. Okay, so if we consider that student, say S1, so S1 is a variable which can capture the behavior of a student. So then we have different types of data associated with these things. He may have a name, then he has a roll number, then he has a say score, okay? And name, roll number, and score, they are having different types of characteristics. So name is basically a sequence of character. So this is sequence of character. The roll number may also a sequence of character of character. Then score is a float, etc. And we amalgamate these things. We basically encapsulates all these things, and the student is now becomes a data. So I can store the student as a single variable, and this student will reflect different types of characteristics, okay? Or it holds different types of data, or it is basically an encapsulation of different data. Okay? So how do we express this, or how do we express this type of data? And then we call these things as a user-defined data. Okay? And there is a way we call this as a structure. The keyword is struc. So this structure defines the user-defined data type. So in our future classes, we may, if we have some time, we can discuss about that user-defined data type. Okay. So primarily, what we will consider the autotype data type and or the system-defined data type, and our course will basically focus on this type of data. Okay. So system-defined data types, we already have have encountered different types of things. So this is just the gist of the part. So we have integer, short, and long. So they are either 32 bits. So integers is 32 bits, short is half of the size, and long is basically double of the size. So compiler, most of the compiler has this type of size. So integer is 32 bits. Otherwise, if integer is 16 bits, then short is also 16, and long is 32 bits. Okay. Then we also have floating point and double. So they are the real data, they are the fractional data, the real data, and their size is also defined 32 bits and 64 bits. 1 minute. Yeah. Then there are some qualifiers. These qualifiers are three types of qualifiers we are having. So one is called the sign qualifiers, another is the type qualifiers, and another is the what is the things we have qualifiers. So one is sign, then we have sign, then there are two more. One is type, and one is value. Okay. So the sign qualifier, there are two qualifiers. One is called unsigned and sign. Okay. So by default, sign, every data type is a sign default. So this is the default type. Default type of part. So if for the default type, every primitive data types are the sign data type. So if you want to qualify these things, or if you want to override the characteristics of the data, then we can use the unsigned data type. So unsigned signifies that there is no negative values. Every values are in the range of 0 to maximum. Okay. Then we have type. So type is basically there are static, and there are other things. We have a far, etc., etc. So static is important. So we will discuss the static data type in some in some later classes. Okay. So So I can define an integer as a static, say static int a, or unsigned int a. So this is the data type, and these are the qualifiers. Okay? And we have a value. Value is, there is a constant. Constant is another qualifier. If we say that CONST const int a, and we declare these things as 10, that means throughout the program the value of a cannot be changed. Okay? The value becomes constant. Okay? So so these are the modifiers which can be used. Okay? And there is another type of data type which is called the pointer data type. The pointer data type is basically it captures the address of a variable. It does not captures the value of the variable, rather it captures the address of the variable. Okay? And then we have declared, say, int star a. That means a is a variable which is an integer. Okay? So let a is having the value of 50, but there is a variable, say b, which is having the value of 50. Now a is another variable which basically captures the address of this b. So in my memory, so b, the variable b is stored in some address. Okay? And now a is a variable which basically captures the address of this b. Okay? And then we call these things as a integer pointer. Okay? So in the future classes we will discuss more about these things. But at this present, just try to make the sense that what is the data types and what are the modifiers, or what are the qualifiers. Qualifiers is basically it puts some more characteristics, or it puts some more things on the data. Okay, understand? So there are three types of qualifiers. One is called the signed, another is value, and another is what is the thing? Another is type. Okay. Apart from that, there is another special type of data which is defined in the C programming language. We call these things as a void data. So void data is a special type of data type. So it does not have any existence in the main program. Say in my main or in any programming, in any program, I cannot define a void. I cannot define void A as a data. Okay? So rather I can declare int a as a data. So what is the use of this void? So void is basically used when a program, or when this what main will return. So whenever a program runs, so it program runs in this way, and at the end it should return some things. Yeah. The main also returns some things. Every subroutine returns some things. Yeah. So when it returns, it either I am specifying that it may returns an integer, such that I at the end I basically writes return 0. That means the main, when it terminates, when the program of main is executed, then it returns an integer value to the calling functions or to the operating systems. Otherwise, if we declare these things as a void, okay, then it does not return anything. So we don't have a return statement at the end. So it terminates, and it does not make any notification to the calling function. It just terminates. Okay. So void. So there is a special data type void, which says that the executions of a particular things is happen, and it does not returns anything to the calling function. Understand? Okay. So void does not exist as a independent data, but whenever we have a function call, we basically have to specify that what things is returning to the calling functions, and then we have a special type of data which is called void. Okay. So these are the different types of system defined data types, or we call these things as a auto type data. Okay. Then we have operators. So we already discussed these things. What is the operators? So operators are either the C programming language defines three types of operators. One is the unary, binary, and the trinary. So unary operators, you understand what are the unary operators. So it may be plus or positive, negative. Then this is a special operator which is called incrementing. So it implies that the value of A is incremented by A plus 1. Okay? Then the decrementation operation is also there. So it specifies the value of A is decrement by 1. Okay? So plus operation is basically A plus 1. So this is a constant. So we just make a shorthand notation of A plus 1. Okay. Then there are binary operations. Binary operations are, say, addition, subtraction, etc. Okay? All these things are the binary operations. And then we have a trinary operations, which there is a single trinary operation in in C language, which looks something like this. Say A, B, I forgot that notation. Let me. A, B, something like this. Okay, let me check it. I will let you know. Okay. So there is a trinary operation which takes 3 arguments. Okay. Something in this way. Say A, B, colon, say 5, 3, something like that. Let me know. I am not sure. I will let you know. Okay. And then we have a association. The association says that if same precedence of operations are in an expression, then which operation will be executed before the others. And there is a precedence which says that if there are multiple operations in an expression, then which operation will be executed before the others. Okay. And there are different types of operations we take. We have already discussed this part. Okay. Then what are the operators we have already discussed is basically there are some arithmetic operation. There are some logic. There are some condition operation. And there are some assignment. So arithmetic operation having the highest precedence, then condition, then logic, and assignment. Then there is another type of mechanism which is called the parenthesis. The parenthesis says that say if I want to write something like this 5, that means if I want to make the addition operation before the multiplication, then we basically embrace this operation with a parenthesis. Yeah? So this parenthesis is having the highest precedence over all the operations. Okay? So parenthesis implies that if we want to overdid a particular operator with a higher precedence, then we used to make a parenthesis around the operations. Okay? Then what is the meaning of these things? The meaning of these things is that we first perform the addition and then the multiplication. Instead of if I write the statement in this way, and that means we first perform the multiplication and then addition. Okay. So the evolution of this expression is something like this. I have to perform this multiplication first, and the result will come here 15, and then 15 will be added to 5. The result will come as 20. Okay. So on the other hand, as there is a parenthesis which overrides the addition operation over the multiplication. In this case, I am performing the addition first, so it will come 8, and then it will be multiplied with 5, so it will be 40. Understand? So this parenthesis operation is parenthesis is basically an operators which having a pair, means matching pairs. So if there is a parenthesis, then we basically perform the embrace parenthesis before the others. Okay. And this is shown in this part. Okay. Let us take an example how the operators can be how we can work with the operators. Example 1. Okay. So now look at this program. So there are 3 variables, integer a, b, and c is declared. Okay. Now we also have a result which will capture the operations, output of the operations. Okay. So in our first arithmetic, what we have done, we are performing the a into b plus c. Okay. And what is the result? It comes. It has a 2 operations. The multiplication operation having the higher precedence over the addition. So we first multiply 30 and 20 and 30, and then it will be added with the variable c. Okay. So it looks something a into b plus c. That means I first perform the multiplication a, b, c. This is 20, this is 30. So this is 600, and then this is 100. So we have 700. Okay, understand? So result is this. Sorry, what is that? Where we are? So the result should be something 700. Okay. So result will capture the value 700. Okay. Okay. So in this case, we have the same precedence operation. Okay. So there is a multiplication followed by a division. So which operation will be performed first? Shall it divide first or shall it multiply first? So in this case, we have an association. The association says that the left side, the operations will be performed from left to right. So the left side operation is multiplication. So it will first perform the multiplication and then it will divide by c. Okay. So what will be the result? We will get a into b divided by c. So we have division operation a, b. So this gives me 600. Then divide by 100, we'll get 6. So the result is basically 6. So instead, the compiler does not perform the another way. So the compiler does not multiply the things with a, b by c. Yeah, it does not perform this type of expression. Okay. So where this one is what is that? 330. This is 100. So division gives me a 0, and multiplied with 20, it gets how much? 0. Okay. So the 2 operation, if we perform the operation in this way, we have a result of 6. Otherwise, if we execute the operation in this way, the result is 0. But compiler always executes the left hand side. It does not execute the right hand side, because we have a rule which says that if we have the same precedence operations, the left hand side will be executed before the right. Okay. You understand this point?
Yes, sir. Sir, please, can you please show me the ternary operation?
Ternary operation. Okay, let me take it. I'll show you after that. After this
Okay.
discussion. Okay. So now we come to the conditional operation. So what is the conditional operation? The conditional operation basically returns me a 0 and 1. Yeah. So so in this case, I have the condition A equals to B. Yeah. So this operation is say whether A is not equals to B. So if A and B, their value is not equals, then it returns a true. If their values is equal, then it returns a false. Okay, get it? So in this case, the value of A is 20, this value is 300. So it will return a true. Okay, so in C programming language, the true value are represented with a 1 and the false value is represented with a 0. Understand? Clear? So what is the result? The result is basically we first evaluate the left hand side. So we first evaluate the right hand side. Sorry, this one. We first evaluate the right hand side. So the right hand side is basically a true. So true is having the value of 1. So result will capture the value of 1. Understand? So look at that A and B are not true and false. A and B are some values, means it may be an integer, it may be a float. But this operator returns a true and false.
Sir, one thing. Sir, in C, do we not have the Boolean data type?
Boolean, no. In C, it is available in the C++, but if you write a pure C program, we don't have Boolean data type. Okay. So Boolean is starts from C++. Similarly, this is also a conditional operation. So in this case, it returns a false because A is having the value of 20 and B is having the value of 30. So this condition is false. So the result captures the value of 0. Understand? Get it? And now we come to logic operations. So what is the logic operation? Logic operation is this one, the AND OR cases. Yeah. So AND OR cases means if we take the logic operation, so there is this represents the AND. Okay. So its arguments are basically true and false. So I want to perform the AND operation between the binary variables like true and false. So whether the left hand side is true and the right hand side is true, then only gets a output as true. So AND operation looks something like this. If the two operands is true, then only we get a true, otherwise we get a false. We get a false. Okay, understand? So similarly, the OR operation, which is a vertical double bar, if the both side is false, then we get a false, otherwise we get a true. We get a true. Okay. So now if we take the logic operation, so logic operation it takes a argument, left hand side argument as a true and false, right hand side argument is also a true or false. So looking at this expression, we find that we have a AND operation, and its left hand side is basically a condition check, and right hand side is also a condition check. Okay. So left hand side, after performing the condition check, it will return a true or false. Right hand side also returns a true or false. Let me just show how it will be executed by the compiler. So it is the expression is A not equals to 30. Then whether C is greater than 10. Okay? And then there is an assignment operation to the result. Okay. So how the compiler will evaluate these things? Which is the lowest precedence in this case? The logic operation is the lowest precedence. So that will be executed at the end. So what is the left hand side? The left hand side is conditional operation. This one. And it has two arguments, A and 30. What is the right hand side? It is a condition operation, which has two arguments, C and 10. Understand? So in this way, to get the value at this point, I must have the value in this box. I must have the value in this box. And to get the value in this box, I have to evaluate the expression with this argument. So in this case, A is not equals to 30. So this is true because A's value is 20. So A is not equals to 30. This condition is true. C is greater than 10. C's value is 100. So this condition is also true. And then we have an AND operation, which gives me a true case. Understand? So every expression, if we write a expression with multiple operators, I have to identify, or I have to make this type of diagrams, and then I have to evaluate that what will be the correct result of the expression. Okay. Do you get this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So in this way, this operation is also returns me a result as a true. Okay. Okay. And then we have assignment operations. So assignment operations are we have assignment operation means the right hand side will be evaluated, and then the left hand side, the value of the right hand side will be assigned to the left hand side. Okay? So in this case, there are different types of assignment operations. The simplest assignment operation is this one. So that means I evaluate the left hand side, the value becomes a true, means 1, and now I assign these things to the result. Okay? And then there are some shorthand representation. The shorthand representation says that, say, if I write A plus equals to B, that means I try to express that this one is A plus B plus A. So B plus A. Understand? So similarly, writing A into equals to B, this is basically B into A. Understand? Clear? So this type of shorthand representation is also defined in the C programming language. So what is the meaning of these things? If A is having the value of 20, B is having the value of 30, then A plus equals to B. Now B will having the value of 30, but A will having the value of 50, because the value of A is modified to 50. Understand? Clear? Okay. And finally, yes, there is another logic operation. So just to make a just to make the difference between the two logic operations. One is called logic AND. This is called the logic AND. This is called the logic OR. And then we have the single AND and the single vertical. So this is called the binary AND this is called the binary OR. Okay. So what is the difference between the two? Say, just take an example. We take the final example. So what is the meaning of these things? I am performing B plus equals to B vertical of A. That means, so the value of B is how much? It is 30. The value of A is 50. And what is their representation in binary? It looks 30 means, let me work it out, otherwise it will take time. So 30, its binary representation is this one. 410. Okay. So 1 1 1 1 0. Okay. And 50, its binary representation is 11 00 10. Okay. 11 00 10. Okay. Okay. So what is the OR operation? So now so if I write a logic OR, then what is the meaning of these things? The meaning will be logical OR, means if this is true and if this is true, then the result is also true. Okay? But if we perform a vertical single OR operation, then it is basically a binary OR operation that we want to express. So doing these things, this one will becomes 1 0 0 is 0, 1 1 is 1, 1 0 is 1. Or okay. You get this one?
Sir, so it will return the binary output, or it will return the decimal
No,
output? We
it
again
will
convert
return the
it to decimal.
yes, yes. It will return the numeric. It is not return the binary. It will return the numeric, means let me, how many ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is basically 5 means 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 64. No, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 64. So how much it is? This is 6, 6 is 12, 12, 20, 24, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. Yes, okay.
So it will be
Base
126. 1, 2, you have missed.
Huh?
Plus 2 will be there.
Oh, so tell us 66.
2
Tell us
plus
6.
4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32 plus 64. So it will be, I think,
6.
126.
126. Okay. So this will be B plus 126. And then B will be added. B's value is how much? B's value was 30. So finally, B will take the value of 126 plus 30. So 651, 156 will be the value of B, something like that. Get it? Understand?
Sir, how the 1 comes? How the
Sir,
7
how
comes?
binary addition is done?
Binary addition, this is OR operation. OR means, let me just
Bitwise or
clear it.
bit position
Bitwise
arrange
or.
the expression.
There should be 5 1, not 6 1.
Let me
Because
do, I'm not.
extra 1 is also, I think, there.
This is 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. This is A. Is that
Not A,
one?
B.
This is B, okay.
Hmm.
This is B. And A is writing from
1,
1,
0.
0, 0, 1, 1. Okay.
Hmm.
So this is A.
Now
Achha.
for every position there will be bitwise or. It is not
So this is
addition.
bitwise. This is bitwise
0
OR.
or
This is
0.
OR. 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Oh, 1 extra 1 I have done now. It is 1,
Yes,
2,
sir, yes.
3, 4, 5. So this is 0 plus 2
64, I
plus
guess.
4 plus
64.
8 plus 16 plus 32. Right?
64.
62.
62, I guess. 62?
62. So B, so what was the expression? 64 minus 2. 62. Right? Okay. So our expression was B plus A or B or something like that. So this one takes 64. So now B becomes 64 plus what else that things 30, no? So 90.
62, not 64.
Oh, sorry.
64.
62 plus 30, so 92. Okay. Okay, fine. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So these are all about different types of operations, and if we run the things, it will show the result. I'll communicate this program so you can run it and check whether your interpretation and the compiler output is correct or not. Okay, or they are matching on. And then we'll come. Okay, there is a typecasting. Okay, so what is the time? Okay, so we can stop it here. So we can take some discussion. If we have some question, let me answer the question. This will be, we'll continue these things in the next class. Okay. So, is there any doubt so far?
Sir, anything is decided about CA1 computer?
CA1. Oh, CA1 will, when is the date? I think January, mid, mid of January, no?
So
It
from
is
10 to
from
15.
10. So
10 to
probably
15.
Say from 10 to 15.
10 to 16. So
Acha, next, acha, end of this week we have the CA1.
not end of this week, next week.
So, 18, so next week is
10 to
next week.
16. 10 to 16. That means
Next Monday,
next
no?
week, whole next week will be devoted for CA1.
CA1. Acha. So
We'll let you
call-
know on Friday exact mode of the test we are going to take. Okay. Most probably it will be in form of a quiz, isn't it, Jaideep?
Yes, it will in form of a quiz, and probably we'll complete these things by the next class, and we'll up to that class will the syllabus will be up to that class. Okay.
Sir,
But try to-
MCQ.
MCQ, quiz MCQ. Okay. So we'll try to make the notification by Friday. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
Sir, can we leave if we don't have any doubts?
Yes, yes. You can leave.
sir, please show the written notes, sir. One page, sir. I don't understand. Written, sir.
This one. No?
No, sir. Back, sir.
This one.
No, sir. That written notes in back pages, sir. मतलब previous pages. Previous pages, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, please
One-
show
one
from,
more, sir.
show from page 1.
Achha,
Yes,
page
sir.
1. Okay, Baba.
Yes, sir. That void, sir.
Achha,
Yes, sir.
void.
That last one, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, void.
Yes, sir. Once again, sir, please.
Achha, void. Actually, what we are doing? So, if we want to compute, so we must have some data. Understand?
Yes.
So
sir.
data basically having some values. So I must have some value either in terms of say your name or your score or your or something. Some value should be there. So whenever we are having some value, we can classify the values into either integer, float, or character. Clear? But in C programming language, what is happening? Say just take it something like this. Say I have a program which is main here, and this main is asking for a area of circle for multiple times. So I have different types of radius, say radius R1, radius R2, radius R3, and I have to compute the area of the circle in multiple times. Okay? So what we do, we sometimes write another small program which will take the input as an R and it will return a area. Okay? So in my main program, I need not to write the same set of code multiple times. So area is basically how can we compute? It is pi r square. Okay? So there will be a area 1 which will be pi into r square. Then there will be a area 2 which I have to write pi into r2 square. Yeah. So multiple times I have to write same sort of code. Okay. It is just like a copy and paste, something like that. Yeah. So to avoid these things, to avoid this multiple writing of a same code, I sometimes write a function. And this function takes argument r and it returns the area. Okay. So that now the scenario is something like this. This is main. So main calls a function it writes R1, it gets the result as area A1, and then it again supplies R2, it gets A2. Clear? Understand? As a same example is the printf. So in your program, you multiple times you are using the printf things. So what is the meaning? So I don't want to write the code for the printing. So I just put some things into the printf function and I get the result. Understand? So now think that, okay, this function is basically I am sending something, X I am sending, and I am sending Y. Okay. Okay. So there may be some cases where the function does not return anything. Say, for example, the printf. So printf, when we are using the printf, we just want to print the things. We do not want to get something from this function. Understand? Do you get this point? So if the function does not return anything, then how can I specify that, okay, the function is not returning anything? And for that case, we use a special type of variable or a special type of data type, which is called void. So the meaning of void is that it is basically specifying that, okay, I am not having any data for my computation, or I am not having any data to be returned. Understand? So whenever I write a function, say int main, that means the function will return an integer value. In the other case, if I write a void, that means the function main will not return anything. So I just execute the program and terminate. Okay. So
sir, what will be return if it is not an integer?
It may be anything. It may return a float, like area. It is not returning an integer. It may return a float. It may return a character, but it is returning something. Yeah. So what it is returning, I have to mention that. But if the function does not return anything, then I have to mention that it is return type is void. Okay. So void is basically a statement that we are stating that your function is not returning anything. Get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So sir, why will we use it?
Sir, please give me an example of trinary operator.
Okay. Let me check it. I also forget the notation, means how to write this. It is one time trinary operation is only available in C. That is. Java C sentence. Okay. Yes. Okay. It is something like this. Say the operator looks something like. Okay. So this is the operator. Then there is a colon, and there is a condition. So this is a condition. And they are the return value. So return 1 and return 2. Let me just explain this thing. Say I am writing, say A is greater than B. Then trinary operation returns 5, otherwise returns 0. So if A is greater than B, then B, so this condition will be true, then the output of these things will be 5. If this condition is false, then the output of this operator is 0. Yeah? So if I have a result, then if A is greater than B, then result will take the value of 5. Otherwise, result will take the value of 0. Okay. So this is the notation. So we have question mark followed by a colon. This is a condition. This is the return 1 and the return 2. Okay.
So you may thought of
Each type of
this is a shorthand notation of if else. Okay.
If type
So,
of case.
uh,
Yes.
you can
Okay, sir, I
always
get it.
always use if and else. Okay. But if you want use you to, I mean, this shorthand notation, you can use. This is a ternary operator. We very rarely use this one. Okay. But if someone uses that, you should know what is the meaning of that. For that, we are illustrating. Okay.
Yes. Only one trinary operation is available in the C or Java, anywhere. You can get a trinary operator which works something like that. So this is not in very practice. Means we try to avoid trinary operations. Okay.
স্যার
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
বলছি স্যার জিজ্ঞাসা চিহ্ন ইফের জন্য আর স্যার কোলন চিহ্নটা এলস এর জন্য, স্যার এলস ইফ এর জন্য কি কিছু রয়েছে এরকম?
No. Trinary operation is means it is just means similarity. Means it is an operator. Don't if else. If else is branching. Understand? So don't mismatch the two concepts. If else is a things which branches, but this is an operator. Understand? So operator and branching is different. Okay. It works like a if else, but it is not the if else case. Get it?
ওকে স্যার।
Okay, so let me conclude for today. Let's just stop the recording.